Hi guys, welcome back to Murusama. Over the past decade, Isekai or transfer to another world has been proven to be the trend in anime's world that will never go away. Even for me, Isekai is one of the genres of anime I love. So without wasting your time, I present you the top 10 Isekai or transfer to another world anime. For you who's new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get a new update every time I upload a new video. Number 10. Isekai Mao Tusoukan Soju no Dori Majutsu, or How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. When it comes to the fantasy MMORPG cross delivery, none can match the power of the Demon King Diablo. Possessing the game's greatest and rarest artifact and unrivaled player level, he overpowers all foolish enough to confront him. But despite his fearsome reputation, Diablo's true identity is Takuma Sakamoto, a sack-in gamer devoid of any social skills. Defeating helpless challenges day by day, Takuma cares about nothing else but his spiritual life. That's it. Till summoning spell suddenly transport him to another world where he has Diablo appearance.
俺ディアブロになってるなんだこれ俺部屋でゲームやってたのに
In this new world, resembling his favorite game, Takuma is greeted by the two girls who summon him, Remgelio, a petite Pantherian adventurer, and Syrah L. Greenwood, Basti Elf Summoner. They perform an enslavement ritual in an attempt to subjugate him, but the spells backfires and causes them to become his slave instead. With the situation now becoming more awkward than ever, Takuma decides to accompany these girls in finding a way to unbind their contract while learning to adapt to his new existence as the menacing Demon King. This anime have a lot of fan service scenes that you always like, right guys? And of course, a lot of comedy, action, and magic.
条件条件って何？目だめ女神と人間の恋はあ せめて入念な準備はさせてもらう
Number 9. Jinjo Yusa, or Casa's Hero. There's a popular saying, you can never be too careful. It's very important to prepare for every situation you may face. Even if it seems like an unnecessary waste of time, also in games like RPGs, it's good to exceed the level of your enemies to achieve total victory. This word describes Seiya region, a little to perfection. After being summoned by the goddess of Restarte to save the world of Kibrande from destruction, the hero prepares himself for his noble journey. While this might be normal, he spends a very long time training himself despite having overpowered stats from the beginning. He fights weak enemies using stronger skills.
これって
食らえアトミックスプリットスラッシュ
And buy excessive amount of supplies and potions, all just to stay safe. While his attitude may be a bit annoying, it might just be the saving grace of Vibrande, especially considering that it is a world where the force of evil dominates every expectation. After his confidence rises up, that's when he thinks about the right time to attack the dungeon or to save the city. This anime has a lot of comedy and funny scenes, not from the hero, but from other characters around him in the anime, including the aggressive goddess that always misunderstands the intention of the hero. Number 8. Sword Art Online. Virtual reality has progressed by leaps and bounds, and a massive online role-playing game called Sword Art Online is launched. With the aid of Nerf gear technology, players can control their avatars within the game using nothing but their thoughts. Kajuto Kirigaya, nicknamed Kirito, is among the luckiest few people who got their hands on the first segment of the game. He logs in and finds himself within the 10,000 others in the scenic and elaborate world of Vanguard, one of full fantastic medieval weapons and gruesome monsters. However, in a cruel turn of events, all the players soon realize they cannot log out. The game's creator has trapped them in his new world until they complete all 100 levels of the game.
だが解放される条件はただ一つ。このゲームをクリアすればよい。
To escape Anchorage, Kirito will now have to interact and cooperate with his fellow players. Some are allies, while others are foes, like Asuna Yuki, who commands the leading group attempting to escape from the ruthless game. To make the matters worse, Sword Art Online is not all fun and games. If they died in Anchorage, they died in real life. Kirito must adapt to his new reality, fight for his survival, and hopefully break free from his spiritual hell.
力を与えたまえ。
Number 7. Yojo Senki, or the Saga of Tanya the Evil. A salaryman who was murdered in 2013, he was reborn as a girl living in an alternate world version of Europe during the late interwar period. The soul of man reincarnated as a baby girl in one of the orphanages and named Tanya. The anime starts on the battlefield in Rhine, where Tanya is a young infamous soldier, ruthless and uncanny, earning her nickname the Devil of the Rhine by becoming the hero that day. Underneath her little girl appearance lies a soul of man that challenges the god, a man that doesn't believe in God in his past life. So, the god sent him back to be reincarnated in this world. When she was only 9 years old, Tanya enters the Empire's mage troops and promoted to the second lieutenant. Her talents, strategies, efficiency, and ruthlessness make her a useful asset for the Empire and a threat on the battlefield. Moreover, she leads her own newly formed mage battalion known as the Imperial Army Air Mage Battalion. And when she declares war on their enemy, even their enemy doesn't believe that they are under attack by Tanya Division.
正々堂々戦争することを誓います。警告します。帝国軍はこれより軍事施設を攻撃します。
Number 6. Gate. Off-duty Japan Self-Defense Force officer and an otaku, Yuji Itami, is on his way to attend a doujin convention in Ginza, Tokyo, when a mysterious portal in the shape of a large gate suddenly appears. From this gate, supernatural creatures and warriors clad in medieval armor emerge, charging through the city, killing and destroying everything in their path. With swift action, Yuji saves as many lives as he can while the rest of the GSDF direct their efforts towards stopping the invasion. 3 months after the attack, Yuji has been tasked with leading a special recon team as part of the GSDF task force that will descend to the world beyond the gate, that now being referred to as the special region. They must travel into this unknown world to learn about what they are dealing with and attempt to befriend the locals in hopes of creating peaceful ties with the ruling empire. But if they fail, they face the consequences of participating in a devastating war that will engulf both sides of the gate. After reaching the other side of the gate, the GSDF made a base. The Imperial Kingdom nation thought that GSDF trying to attack their nation and prepare the troops to kick out the GSDF from their nation. However, the Imperial Army only have medieval weapons like swords and arrows to fight the Japan army. Of course, they got wiped out instantly. This is where the adventures begin. While Itami and his team trying to reach out and explore this new nation on the other side of the gate, they find a village that just got burned by something, and there is no sign of life there. While his team checking in one of the wells, they found Toka, an elf that passed out at the bottom of the well. Itami and his team continue his journey and reach the other village, and warn the villagers that an elf village got wiped out by Red Dragon. The people in this village evacuate immediately after hearing that news. And here is where Itami and his team meet Lele, a human mage. Itami and his troops guarding the refugees from the village. Meanwhile, a gothic lolly girl walking in the middle of the road, a half-god, Rory Mercury, This tree will become his companion while exploring the new nation later. This anime is very nice to watch and has 2 seasons.
あ、ご飯ですか？実は私もお腹が減って。
Number 5. Kumo Desuga Nanika, or So I'm Spider, So What? One day in high school, all students peacefully do their everyday activities until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school and kills every person there. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, some of the students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as a nobles, prince, dragons, and other kinds of people with prestigious background. However, one girl is not so lucky. Being reborn as Spider of the weakest kind, she immediately experienced the hardship of her dire situation and tried to figure what happened to her. She realized that this is a new world and works like a game where you can level up.
なんか本当に異世界転生っぽくなってきたじゃない。取得もちろんイエスで。
She starts as a level 1 spider. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like an RPG game, she tries her best to hunt her prey and defeat monsters to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded and that she will be granted a better life. And also, she actually enjoying her adventure as a spider.
おー、進化してる。おー、3桁。数値めっちゃアップしてるじゃん。
In the end, all the students in the class were separated into 2 sides, demon race and humans. They fought each other to prove that one of their sides is the right one. This is one of my favorite isekai, since the main character is so funny, introvert outside but extrovert inside.
これだけは確認しなければ。アルベド、胸を触ってもよいか。
Okay, now for number 4, Overlord. The final hour of a popular virtual reality game Yggdrasil has come. However, Momonga, a powerful wizard and the master of the Dark Guild, ain't all gone, decides to spend his last few moments in the game as the server begins to shut down at midnight. To his surprise, despite the clock having struck midnight, Momonga is still fully conscious as his character and he finds out that he cannot log out. The non-player character appears to have developed personalities of their own. He was shocked seeing Albedo's lips moving while talking when she was just an NPC. Confronted with this abnormal situation, Momonga commands his loyal servant to help him investigate and take control of this new world, with the hope of figuring out what has caused this development and if there may be people from Yggdrasil trapped here. This anime is so funny. Anything Momonga said, even though he only say random things, his servant always sees that as an amazing thing. And the rivalry between Albedo and Salatiel is so fun to watch. They fight to decide who will be the right person next to Momonga. Number 3. Mushokou Tensei, or jobless reincarnation. Despite being bullied, scorned, and oppressed all of his life, a 34-year-old Sud-in man has a tragic accident while trying to save 3 students that almost got hit by a truck. The 3 students survived, but the man who tried to save them lost his life instead. This man is the main character in this anime. In a twist of fate, he awakens in another world as Rudeus Greyat, starting a new life again as a baby born to 2 loving parents. Preserving his memory and knowledge from his previous life, Rudeus quickly adapts to his new environment. With the mind of grown adult, he starts to display the magical talent that exceeds all expectations. Honing his skill with the help of a mage named Roxy Migardia, Rudeus learns swordplay from his father, Paul, and meets Silpenet, a girl his age who quickly becomes his close friend after saving her from the bullies. As Rudeus' second chance at life begins, he tries to make the most of his new opportunity while conquering his traumatic past, and perhaps one day he may find the one thing he couldn't find in his old world: love. Rudeus is a pervert. He even tried to pick at his teacher's skirt while studying. The storyline is very good. I want to say more things about this anime, but later it will become spoiler for the people who haven't watched. so you better watch it yourself, guys. Number 2, Tate no Yusa, or the Seal Hero. The 4 cardinal heroes are a group of ordinary men from modern-day Japan summoned to the kingdom of Melromak to become its savior. Melromak is a country plagued by the wave of catastrophes that have repeatedly ravaged the land and brought disaster to its citizens for centuries. The 4 heroes have respectively bestowed a sword, spear, bow, and a shield to vanquish this wave. Naofumi Iwatani, an otaku, become cursed with the fate of being the shield hero. Armed with only a measly shield, Naofumi is belittled and ridiculed by his fellow heroes and the kingdom's people due to his weak offensive capabilities and lackluster personality. When the heroes are provided with resources and comrades to train with, Naofumi set out with the only person willing to train alongside him, Malty Melromak. He is soon betrayed by her and become falsely accused of taking advantage of her. Naofumi then become heavily discriminated against and hated by the people of Melromak for something he didn't do. With a raging storm of hurt and mistrust in his heart, Naofumi began his journey of strengthening himself and his reputation. Further along, however, the difficulty of being on his own sets in. Naofumi bought a demi-human slave on the verge of death, named Raptalia, to accompany him on his travels. Raptalia has the trauma of seeing blood, but she slowly can handle the trauma and level up to become a big girl. Naofumi and Raptalia must fight for the survival of the kingdom and protect the people of Melromak from their ill-fated future. Number 1. Tensei Shitara Dataken, or The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. 37 years old, Satoru Kami is a typical corporate worker. He is perfectly content with his boring lifestyle in Tokyo. In the midst of casual encounters with his colleague, he falls victim to a random assailant on the streets and got stabbed. However, while struggling with his injuries, a strange voice echoes in his mind and recites a bunch of commands which the dying man cannot make sense of. When Satoru regained consciousness, he discovered that he has reincarnated as a group of slime in an unfamiliar realm. In doing so, he acquires a newfound skill, the power to devour anything and mimic its appearance and abilities. He then stumbles upon the sealed catastrophe-level monster Storm Dragon Veldora, who had been sealed away for the past 300 years for devastating the town to ashes. Sympathetic to his predecessor, Satoru befriends him, promising to assist in destroying the seal. In return, Veldora bestows upon him the name Rimuru Tempest to grant him divine protection. After Rimuru leaves the cave, Rimuru reaches a goblin village where later will be his base. He then meets a girl that has been summoned from Japan but in a different era, called Shiju. This is where Rimuru gets his appearance later. Before Shiju died, she asked Rimuru to devour her. Liberated from the daily routine of his past life, Rimuru embarks on a fresh journey with a distinct goal in mind. As he grows accustomed to his new physique, egoistic ripple throughout the world, gradually altering his fate. Rimuru has a very good personality and also very friendly. He can even be friends with the strongest demon lord, Milim Nafa.
友達というよりマブダチだな
Disclaimer guys, this top 10 Isekai is my personal opinion. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I still have a lot of recommendations for Isekai. Maybe I will make part 2. If you have any suggestion, make sure to comment down below. Stay safe and see you guys.